Alright, this is how to make your own edits. Let's get into it. So basically the first thing you want to do is go into CuteCut and the first thing that you would want to do is get all of your GIFs, and because KineMaster doesn't allow you to play GIFs, then basically all you have to do is just go into CuteCut, because they do play your GIFs, and then you can just insert them all in, however many that you had. And so this is, if you don't know who this person is, this is Link from Breath of the Wild, and I've gotten back into Breath of the Wild. I've kind of been on and off playing the game and drawing about Breath of the Wild just in general. So I've recently gotten back into it. So basically I searched up Link Breath of the Wild GIFs, and then just took quite a few from that. Okay, so basically now you get in and you put in your your project, and basically, but before you do that, you want to put in the audio that you recorded. So I like to, at the beginning, keep it at its normal speed, and then once I get to the part that I want, I split it, and then I put on AM radio to make it kind of like a filtery effect, and then I put bass booster on the slowed down version, and that is when you add on your thing. But first I put in the whooshing sound effect to give it just a little bit more pizzazz, so that it's like it's going whoosh, and now it's slowed. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not entirely sure. But so, and once you've listened to it, export it, and then you can then you can add in your thing, and you can just make the actual song just as a layer, and that would be fine. So what I'm going to do after I do this, I listen to it, make sure it sounds nice, and then I take a photo. Usually it's just a blank color, and then I stretch it until where the beat sort of drops, I guess, if that makes sense. And of course I decided to do it in blue, because, Link's colors, like his main color scheme is blue and yellow. So, and then I watch it through a couple times, make sure it kind of like matches up good, and then I start to add in the text. Usually I will add in what I'm titling it, add in an epic font, and usually for the top part, because there will be two parts to the actual text, I like to put in a cursive text. I think it looks very nice. And then I add in a glow and make it the same color, so it looks like the text is glowing. And I think it looks really cool. And then I add a fade in and a fade out. My favorite fade in is probably the slow letter by letter sort of fade in. And then I put in a line so it draws, and then I make it so it transitions in as it looks like the line is being drawn across. And I try to make sure the attention is caught right at the beginning, so then I guess it would sort of build up almost like a tension until the beat drops and you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And then normally I put this one underneath it and I make it sort of a more of a childish looking handwriting. And these two fonts are both used in KineMaster Premium. So if you do not have KineMaster Premium, you're just going to have to stick with the fonts that you have or the fonts that you can get that are free, as well as most of the transitions. But you can also do transitions with other paid apps that you might have or just apps in general. I really suggest CuteCut if you can't get transitions for KineMaster, because one, CuteCut is a one-time only pay, so if you can't pay for the monthly subscription, then you can pay for CuteCut Pro, and that'll give you a lot of more options on what to do. And also, once you get that, you'll be able to do transitions a lot easier. They're not custom made, but there are lots of tutorials on how you can make really pretty looking transitions on both KineMaster and CuteCut. I just like to use the already made ones for now until I get a little bit more experienced myself, because I have a lot to learn on edits as well. I just want to make sure that, because I've seen a lot of people do edit tutorials lately and how to do the transitions, so I thought I would share how, I guess my take on how I do them. Everybody's going to have a different sort of way they do things. Everybody's going to have a different style of editing, but this is just my personal one. And of course, I had to add some glitchy effects. This is from the effects, or sorry, not the effects, the stickers, I believe it is, the stickers tab, and I got these glitch effects, and I thought it looked really, really cool, and so I decided to use it. And I really liked how the effects, or the transitions especially, turned out, because they were very on timing, and I really enjoyed it. But basically all you have to do is divide, push the third, the divide at point, or whatever it may say on your specific one, at the times that the pictures change. That's going to be just before the picture changes or just after the picture changes is going to be the part that you want. And then I'm just going to do it for all of these, and there we go. And now I put in transitions, and you always want to make sure that you watch over your transitions after you do them, because one of the most important parts of your edit is the timing. So if you don't get the timing right, you have to try to line it up so it hits the beats of the music along with the video, or else it might not look as good as you want, because because if it's just willy-nilly transitions, it's not going to give you the same effect, and it's not going to look as good. So you want to make sure that your transitions are on timing and that they look very smooth and look good together. So ones that I like to use are motion cuts. I like to use retrospection, acceleration, speed turns, side flashes. I like to use a lot of those kinds. Warp, those are some other ones as well, I believe. And those kinds of ones, like speed blurs, speed turns, Those are probably going to give you your best transitions. Rotate and turn is also another one. Speedy warp. Those are quite a few that I personally really like, and I think that they work very well. But for at least most of them, you are going to need KineMaster Premium. So like I said before, if you don't have that, I would look up how to do some custom transitions on CuteCut and see how that works out for you. So I'm just putting all of these together. I'm almost done with this, and we're going to move on to the next step. It's very important that you choose, like I said earlier, that you choose transitions that look good together, because it wouldn't make sense to have a bunch of, I don't know, like glitchy effects in between a bunch of warp effects, and unless it's supposed to be related to that theme, and it's like a glitchy sort of theme, if that's what you really want for your what it is, then you can do that. But if you're just mashing a bunch of like really random transitions together, then that might not look as good either. So for this next part, I kind of wanted to do a sort of timed beat for each syllable in the specific lyric. This one is my first time trying to do that, so it's probably not going to look as good as I would like it, but I'm definitely going to try to get better at it. Basically, I cut it up and then resize the timeline so that you can see better, and then I make sure that it's all matched up. And then I like to use the spin blurs. Those are pretty nice. I do like to use those for this specifically, and acceleration. Those are both pretty good ones. And because it shakes the screen. I'm not entirely sure how to explain it, but I do like to use those for these types of things, and I think it looks pretty cool. But I'm definitely going to get better at it. I'm probably going to use different transitions, maybe play around with how the pictures look, and those kinds of things. But for now, it is what I guess it is what it is. Okay, so now it is finished, and we can continue on with the next step. All we have to do is export the video, then add in the video. I like to do it 2 more times, and then I chop off, resize, add new transitions to the pictures to make it loop, and make sure it's all on timing with the music, because if it doesn't sort of repeat, if it's not like, repetitive songs aren't bad, but if it's more of a repetitive song where the chorus is very similar, that's mainly where you want to get it. So that usually at the end of the song where they're playing the chorus and the chorus plays multiple times, that's probably where you want to put it, especially if you want to make it longer so you repeat it, because then it's easier to not go out of line, not go out of timing sort of with it. And then I also add in my outro, and then resize the audio and add in a fade out for that, and then add a little transition in between. And I also like to add effects after each each repeat, I guess. So if it repeated 3 times, then the second repeat would have a certain effect on it, let's say like a scan wave effect, and then it would continue throughout to the 3rd repeat, and then the third repeat would also have like a water effect on it, for example. And so even though it's still relatively the same, you're still getting sort of like new effects on it and stuff, and I think that is a good way to transition your repeats and your edits. So I added on kind of like almost like I guess it could be like a staticky almost effect. And then on the other one, I added in a noise glitch effect. And I think it looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty nice. And then make sure you're always watching over your work, just to make sure everything's lined up right, because things can, maybe it accidentally resizes weird, you don't want that. But make sure you're constantly watching over what you're looking at, just to make sure you can go back, get any mistakes. And yeah, I'll show you guys the finished product.